Hello everyone! Welcome to the stream where I am joined by my guest star who says hi. She's just on my lap, fiddling around. She is here. I don't know how long she'll sit here for now I've started making noise. We'll see. You can't quite see her because the camera's just a little bit too high up. I think I'm being annoying. She's gonna go. Nope, she's off. She's off on an adventure, but someone's redeemed treats for Grey, so we can start the stream. We've got 3 lots of treats for Grey. Come on, you. Come over here so they can all see you. Come here. Here we are. There are those 2. Here we go. She is very grateful. She says thank. Have I tried the mod Khajiit Will Follow? I have not yet tried Khajiit Will Follow, but I've heard wonderful things about it. I've heard it's been thoroughly recommended to me, so I will absolutely try it at some point. So I've opened the creation kit, but actually what I need first is SSE Edit, so I'm going to fire that one up. See you, Savannah. Yeah, I would also love for there to be more interactions between Inigo and Lucien, but splicing dialogue is tricky. I find it really hard to create conversations using existing dialogue lines. You know, to find lines and then try and assemble them into a conversation. It just is really hard to make that feel natural. You know, otherwise it's just. I feel like it becomes obvious that you're snipping together lines that already existed. And I find it really tricky. Merrigan, who makes Ori, does a much better job of splicing than I do. She did a wonderful job with her Ori Inigo interaction patch with all of those conversations. So she's much faster at it than I am. I can't really do that myself. I find it very hard work. What do I want? I want to activate that as well. So I find it hard to do that. So there aren't many Inigo and Lucien interactions, but I hope the ones that are there are amusing for you. Yeah, I've had some lovely messages from the author of Inigo when I was starting out on Lucien. Gary is an absolute gentleman. That smart blue cat. Honestly, I've got huge respect for him. He's just an amazing person, really. He certainly comes across as an amazing person. I'm a massive Gary fanboy. But he is a very busy person, and that's why there aren't more interactions there. You know, that's why we haven't got original dialogue. Because he's working on Inigo. You know? Everyone wants Inigo v3. I want Inigo v3. I'm not going to slow that down by trying to get Lucien interactions going instead of that. Let Gary do his thing. I mean, if at any point Gary wanted to do interactions, that would be absolutely fantastic, and I would be absolutely all for it. But, you know, it's totally fit it in with his time schedule. If he were ever willing, you know, that's... If he ever had the time to do it, you gotta follow Gary's schedule. Can't start sticking your nose in saying, come and work on my little mod. Oh, that sounds fun, Phantom. I still haven't got 100% achievements on Skyrim. May is brilliant, though. So, I'm glad May brought you over. Yes, all the hearts for SBC, definitely. That I can thoroughly support. Right, so I am faffing around and procrastinating, but we are going to fire up the Homestead file, which we've got here that we just opened in the creation kit. I'm going to do my usual hacky thing, where I just copy an asset across, copy a record into a new ESL file, or ESL flagged ESP, which we're going to call Lucien Tundra Homestead. Did I spell that right? Yes, I did. Patch. Bum, 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 bum. Which has now got the correct master dependency on Tundra Homestead, which is good. So I can delete that activated now. We've got a file header, and that's all. So then I'm going to add masters, and I'm going to add Lucien.esp. So now we've got both masters that we need. So we're now able to access all the stuff. So I can close that, and we can fire it up in the creation kit. Excuse me, Tiny Lucien. Tiny Lucien's very cute. Oh, I have seen it. Yeah, I've watched all of Gary's interviews with Colin. You should definitely check them out if you haven't. Colin did some wonderful interviews where he actually went and met Gary and chatted about Inigo. And that was pretty awesome to listen to. It's always great to meet the person behind these mods, I find. Right, created by Joseph Russell, Lucien, Tundra Homestead, patch, and the version number I'm up to at the moment is 1.5.0c. So there we go. Right. Sorry about that. Oh, and the other thing I heard about from Colin's Gary Smart Blue Cat interview is he has made a wonderful video on YouTube, on his YouTube channel called Robotafly. Robotafly? Robotafly or Robotafly? I can't remember which, but it's about a butterfly and a robot, and it's this short film, no dialogue or anything. But it's really beautiful. I really enjoyed that, so you should definitely check that out. Robotafly, that was it. In fact, I'll see if I can find it. I'll drop you the link. Bear with me. Right, so his YouTube channel is Smart Blue Cat. And the video in question I'm talking about, all the stuff is there on his channel. There's loads of great Inigo videos on there. But the one that I really loved, that really resonated with me, was this one here. There we go. Just popped it in the chat. If you want, do watch that if you get a chance. Thoroughly recommend it. Really lovely video. Right. J.R. Lucien CC Tundra Homestead. That's what we're going to call this quest. And the dialogue condition we're going to have is get is ID. Wait for it. Bum, 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 bum. And it's all gone funky, as the creation kit sometimes does. Here we are. J.R. Lucien. And that makes sure that only Lucien can say these lines. And because I'm not planning on writing any sneaking dialogue for this one, and Lucien keeps quiet when he's sneaking, I'm going to go to sneaking is sneaking equals 0. So I'm just going to check that Lucien isn't sneaking. And it is, as ever, and I can't stress this enough, your is sneaking condition check should never be first in the condition stack, ever. If you do, the game will crash whenever you talk to a talking activator. Like, what's the name? The Augur of Dunlane or anything like that. It has to be at least the second condition. You have to have a condition first, beforehand, that will eliminate all the talking activators. So a get his ID check will do that. Alternatively, you can have a get his actor check or something like that. You just got to eliminate those talking activators first. So you have that. You have that. And that's all we're probably going to want a couple of quest stages here. We'll probably need. So I'll just pop a couple in there. And we're going to go quest data. We're going to want to give it priority of 50. priority of 50. Lucien's follower dialogue, generic dialogue, is priority of 40, so this will mean they have slight priority over them when it comes to the engine evaluating the various condition stacks. Doesn't make much of a difference, but... I'm sorry, Bard, I'll try and make it clearer, but I'm glad you find it fascinating. So, guys, the gist with this, before I go any further, is this is a modding workshop stream. So that means at any point, if you want to ask me any questions about anything, any aspect of modding, voice acting or writing that I can help you with, you can feel free to ask at any point, and I'll stop what I'm doing and I'll answer that question instead, because the whole point of this is it's got to be a sort of back and forth. That's what I want. So I've got this patch to work on, which I'm going to carry on with at the moment. But if at any point you have something you'd like to know about, feel free to ask and we'll talk about that instead. Oh, I've just realised I haven't put any notifications on the Discord that I'm streaming. So I'll just pop them there now. Should have done that before when we were doing the hype train. There we go, that's just pinging some people who might not have been aware. It is beautiful, isn't it? How to use your own recorded dialogue instead of recording off the creation kit. So my hope is that we'll get to that before the end of the stream. However, I have a video I can just drop you instead, which will answer that question. Let me just grab the link. So this video here will walk you through my entire voice acting and recording process start to finish in about 10 minutes or so. And it will show you exactly how to import dialogue into the creation kit. So here we go. If you just have a look at that, you'll see exactly what you need to do. But alternatively, I'll probably get to it at the end of the stream, depending on how fast we move. Why do you need to make a quest to add reactions to an existing thing in a mod? So, all your dialogue in the creation kit, when you're modding Skyrim, is always contained within quests. Any line of dialogue has to be in a quest. You can't create dialogue without having a quest. So if we just turn off the show any active items, these are all the quests in the game here. And only some of them have names. These are the named quests that actually show up in your journal. And all this stuff, BYOH house bandit attack, handles any dialogue or scripts to do with a bandit attack on your house in Hearthfire. There's stuff to all the dialogue for various caravans and their scenes. There's dialogue for various creatures. So everything is contained within quests. It's slightly counterintuitive, but that's the way the game is built. So yeah, any line of dialogue has a quest associated with it. So if we want to give Lucien lines about something, we have to do it in a quest. Now, I could add the lines to Lucien's existing quests. So if I just turn off that again and show you the JR Lucien quests, this is all of Lucien's quests, and most of his dialogue is in this one, JR Lucien Follower. And if I could add the dialogue to this stack, but the problem is, if I did that, if I added some lines with my mod here, with this particular patch, to JR Lucien Follower, and then I made a new patch, and I tried to add lines to JR Lucien Follower as well with that new patch, the two patches would conflict with each other, because they're both trying to make changes to the same quest, so that would cause problems. So, I always contain my dialogue in my patches in new separate quests, to avoid conflicting in the future. So I hope that was helpful. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to go into my preferences section and create a unique ID for this patch's scripts. Again, in order to prevent conflict. So on our last patch, we had JR10 as the prefix, which means all of our scripts had JR10 at the start of them, so they wouldn't conflict with any other scripts from other mods. This one's going to have JR11, which is going to be the unique prefix for this mod. So all the scripts we make for this will have the prefix JR11 there. So I've done that now, and we're going to hop back into the quest. And when I come to creating a script for this, you'll see that it starts with JR11. Hello, Thunderbite. Welcome to the stream. Or henlo, as you appear to have said. So I say that back to you. Henlo. Ba-da-ba-da-bum. Right. So let's add some dialogue. Now, the thing with Tundra Homestead that's interesting is that, well, not the thing, but it's a lot of it. Unlike our other patches, a lot of the dialogue we're going to have is going to be specifically locational, specific to being in different places within the house. So what we're going to want to do is open it up in the 3D render window to actually have a look at what's going on. So I'm going to just create this idle stack here, and now I'm going to hop over to the cell window over here, and we're going to open up. Firstly, we're going to start with lines for outside the house. So we've got Tundra Homestead here. This is the cell for Tundra Homestead. Is there a place where you can communicate with others what prefixes are already in use? No. There is no place. However, you can have a 4-digit prefix. And if you've got a 4-digit prefix where each one is alphanumeric, so let's see, there's, hang on, let's work this out. So if there are 26 letters in the alphabet and the numbers 0 to 9, that results in 36 possible combinations, 36 possible letters, which means if you've got a 4-digit prefix, that's 36 to the power of 4 different combinations. So that means there are 1,679,616 possible prefixes. So the chances of your prefix overlapping with someone else's prefix, if you choose something original and unique rather than just going 0001, or I'm sure there's lots of people whose prefixes are just AAA or something. But if you choose a properly distinct prefix, in theory, there is a there are 1,679,000 different combinations of prefixes, so it's highly unlikely you're going to end up clashing with another mod author's script. Bearing in mind the script names also have to be the same for you to clash, so the chances of you matching someone else's prefix and then matching the name of their script is pretty darn unlikely. Hey, that was only a tiny bit of maths. That was the tiniest bit of maths, that's all. I didn't even bring it up on the screen, I just did it on my calculator. So, there you go. Don't worry, I'm not doing logical inversions today, yet. Right, so here is the Tundra Homestead, rendered in sparkling 3D for your visual amusement. I'll just expand the window slightly so we can see what's going on a bit more. Lucien's dreaming of sweet rolls. Right, so it's all markers and stuff. But if we just zoom in, we can see there's your kitchen, your dining room, all the idle markers of various places that you can sit, and various trigger boxes and X markers and things. But here we've got the front door, and if I right click on this, not that, this, we can go out the door. And if we go out the door, and here we are out on the outside now of the Tundra Homestead. You can see various trigger boxes again, and the dragon idle markers for where dragons can perch. We've got a few periphery things. There's a sort of crafting area that they've given you. This is by Eleonora, by the way. Eleonora made all of this. Famous mod author, makes a lot of houses. Very high quality. And you've also got a little sort of paddock area. I think this might be a stables or something. Not quite sure what the gist of that is. Might be a stables. That would make sense. There's certainly hay and stuff there. And over here you have got, here it is. Oh no, yeah, the bees. the beehives. So we've got some of those as well. So I think that might be nice for Lucien to talk about too. Maybe pretend he's got stung or something. So let's get started. It's the bees! The bees! Not the bees, anything but the bees. Why was I buzzing? Oh, it's okay. Right, cool. Oh gosh, another patron. I don't know whether you're watching Gelidity, but if you are, thank you so much for subbing. That's really kind of you. Thanks so much. Right, so. Hello, J Smiley P. Hi. What are we working on today? Today we're working on a patch for the Tundra Homestead Creation Club file, so Lucien will comment on it. So, the first line, I think, is going to be on what happens. Oh, one sec. Let me just pop you back to camera to bring something up. But I want to do it on my streamer profile so I don't show you all my various bookmarks on Google Chrome, like who I bank with, etc., etc. But here we go. Let's pop you back onto the screen now. Right, 2 more questions. Joseph, do you have a link to your Discord? Yes, I do. Let me just drop one of those in the chat. And the other question is it safe to install these patches mid-playthrough? Steady on, Skizuki. Just to let you know, I have very strict rules here about anything NSFW in the chat. So if you could please avoid any kind of weird connotations, that would be brilliant. Because it's clearly in the rules section. If you just look in the rules section underneath and just have a look at all of that, just to make that 100% clear. And I'm just going to... yeah, there we go. No worries, you didn't know, but yeah, let's try and be careful with that. Because I try and keep this as family-friendly as possible. Right, so... Hello, Samantha. Welcome. Good evening. Now, I was firing up this, and I was going to get you a link to the Discord. There should be a link to the Discord under the stream, by the way, but if you're viewing on a mobile device, you might not see it. But if you can see under the stream in the description, there's a whole bunch of links, and one of them there is the Discord link. But I will just copy and paste that here into the chat as well for you. Oh, Nuna's already done it. Thank you, Nuna. Most kind. And no arson. Oh, I think I might sneeze. Excuse me. That one sort of backfired. Right, anyway. Tundra Homestead, which I'm going to open up on UESP so we can have a look at what sort of content they've got. Thank you for your blessings. Your blessings are most appreciated. I'm loving all the Lucians with hats, by the way, showing up in there. We added this a couple of weeks ago. Or maybe it was last week. I'm not sure. But the Twitch... sorry, Nuna, I still haven't fixed yours to change it from the founder into, not founder. But, yeah, all the subs have little Lucien faces. And then as you hit various milestones for staying subscribed, Lucien gets a different hat. And it's the most adorable thing. And I can see Six Glitz has got the Dragonborn helmet, Iron Helmet Lucien, and Ninja has got the Wizard Hat Lucien. And I love it. It's so cute to see. Yeah, you got the Wizard Lad. But yeah, anyway, I want here to have Tundra Homestead. Hello, DFDS 3004. Welcome to the stream. Very interesting name. Oh, it's you. You're the DFDS 3004. You're the one from YouTube. You subscribed to me on YouTube. Thank you so much for doing that. My YouTube member. So hence your VIP badge for being a pledgy YouTube membery person. Thank you so much for joining the channel. That was really lovely of you to do that. I didn't actually realise anyone had joined the channel until last night when I had a look. And because I thought YouTube would notify you, and it doesn't. It just appears in your analytics section. So I saw that you'd done it, and thank you so much for doing that. So that's really kind. And I hope you enjoy your little diamond badge next to your name. And I'm glad you could make a stream. Hello. Big Red Zenial says, just saw the last Lucien episode, loved it and can't wait for the next season. Thank you so much. I'm really glad you enjoyed it. I was so excited to air that last episode. So no spoilers, because a lot of people in the chat haven't actually seen it, but I was really excited to air that, and I'm really glad you enjoyed it. And I can't wait to show you what I've got planned for next season. Go away, AVG. Right, what are we doing? We are bringing up that and that. That's all sorted. Cool. So, Tundra Homestead. We have a book, we have a key, we have a house. It has a basement, which is cool. And followers can follow you into the basement. It's true. I've tested this. I fired it up the other day to have a look. Followers can follow you down there, so Lucien will have something to say about it. Someone redeemed Hydrate with a name that I'm not going to read out loud. Hydrate I shall. Oh, Zooey's popped some Lucien fan art in the fan art channel. Let's have a look at that. Got to have a little look at that. Ba-da-ba-dum-bum, ba-da-dum-bum-bum, ba-da-da-da-da-dum. This is the Discord. Oh, May's done another Octavius sketch. That's cool. Oh, we've got some more stuff from Ethelia Lily. I love that. That's really cool. It's always really cool seeing stuff painted in the real world. That's awesome. I love that. Oh, look at all this. Lucien with enough sweet rolls to buy all the gold. No. That's not how words work. Lucien with enough gold to buy all the sweet rolls. I mixed my words up. That wasn't very clever. But yeah, look, tiny Lucien. Look, it's Big U. You can stand on his head. Oh, that's nice. Thanks for sending that in, Zooey. That's awesome. Right. Just going to close Discord so we don't get the pings in the background. Right. This home and its surrounding environs is available for purchase. I've had many cherished adventures in Skyrim, but now I'm afraid I must leave it behind. The war has made life difficult on all of us, and I fear the worst is yet to come. I have entrusted the steward in Dragon's Reach with the managing the sale of my homestead. If interested, please seek him out. Right, we'll have Lucien talk about this. So. This place is for sale? Can we buy it? Oh, please, can we buy it? It looks charming. Please. What happens if you carry human flesh within and go nearby? Gary thinks of everything. This place is for sale. It looks charming. Can we buy it, please? Cool. We may come back to that line and change it, but... knocking things down. Is the home a purchased home? Yes, you buy it with gold. You could buy it with gold or maybe sweet rolls. We might be able to fit something in there. In something to do with sweet rolls. I don't know. We'll see. Probably not on this line, I don't think. But maybe when you've been told the price. Down you pop. Right, now. For this, I need to check what the implementation is of this mod. No, what is it? CC? Here we are. Here's the quest. Well, there's two quests. Firstly, there's this quest. With scripts that aren't loaded because we don't have the source files. But I'd like to purchase a homestead outside of the city. Now, this has this condition. Get quest variable. See, this variable here tells us whether or not the player currently owns the house. So this is going to be super useful for us to steal. So I'm going to jack that. And I'm going to use that myself. You can make it a new meme if you want, Talwyn, sure. Right. Oh, and Rex Flash has been making Daedric Disney princesses, by the way. I shan't explain that any further than it already is. It's wonderful. Join the Discord and have a look. Right, so. Change the channel points to sweet rolls. I mean, I could. Possibly. That'd be quite cute. I quite like that idea. But it's quite good at the moment. You know, it's really clear what they are, channel points. But maybe people already know what channel points are. I don't know. Right, anyway, check this. So that tells us we don't already own the house, which is super useful to us. So the next thing now is you want to check that the player has read the notice. And the easiest way to do that is to check if they have it in their inventory. Now, they might have read it without having it in their inventory, but I don't think there's going to be a condition to check whether or not they've read it because it's not necessary. So I'm going to simply do get item count. And then we're going to do CC. I bet it's called CC something. CC, notice of sale. Get item count, notice of sale is greater than or equal to 1 on either the player or on Lucien. Because if Lucien's got it, then the player must have read it. Because there's no way he'll pick that up on his own. See you in a bit, Nuna. Does anyone else read BRB as burb? When someone puts BRB as in be right back. In my head, I always go burb. So Nunes just said burb, switching from PC to PS4. Does anyone else do that, or is it just me? It's burb. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad you all agree. Well, I say you all. 2 of you have agreed. I like your train conductor badge, by the way, May. That's pretty cool. For conducting the hype train. Down you pop, Tony Lucien. Right, so we've got that, we've got that, we've got that, and we now need to check that you are near it. Now, to do this, I'm going to fire up SSE Edit to just check the implementation in Tundra Homestead. CC, Tundra, yeah. It's probably just called Homestead, isn't it? If we just bring that, the unofficial patch, and then it'll bring up the dependency. Oh, it's LOL. It's definitely LOL. LOL is pronounced LOL. Speaking of burb, did I see Pumpkin in the general chat earlier? I did not, Ninja. Is that your burb? Right. Homestead. Now, I wanted to look at locations, because we have a location here for exterior location. Which conflicts with Anna NPCs when you have that installed, but that's fine. I'll leave that up to a conflict resolution patch, which I'll probably end up making myself. But yes, so we can use this to check if you are in the exterior of Tundra Homestead. Or alternatively, we could do a distance check, but they are more resource intensive. So doing a get is in exterior home location check will probably work for this. But I don't know to what bounds this extends. Might be easier to do a get distance check. Let's have a look. What could we use as a reference for a get distance check? Because that is less likely to conflict, isn't it? Does it show in CK? Does what show in CK? I know not what you mean. No, I'm just looking on my laptop now. Pumpkin is the cutest little duckling. Oh, I've got to show you guys. Let me just fire up Discord again. I'm awfully distracted on the stream. I'm so sorry. Right, so Tundra Homestead. Fire that up. We're going to do... The problem with doing a get distance check is that they break if the required asset you're checking the distance to isn't loaded at the time. So you need to do another check to make sure that they actually are loaded. But it probably is better to do it this way on reflection than doing something I know doesn't work if you've got Anna NPCs installed, which is a mod that I recommend. So let's have a look. Let's find a suitable thing to do a distance check on. Some aspect of the house. What if I click that? Pet door trigger F? It might be better to have a proper solid asset rather than a trigger box. The door. There we go. We'll do the door. And we'll see if the distance between Lucien and that is less than 2,000. Get distance is less than 2,000 between the door and that. We'll do that to make sure it doesn't play very often. And I'll need another check to make sure it's loaded. What can I use? Something that will basically fix the issue. What condition should we have? Has loaded 3D? I've not used that one before. How does that behave? I usually do get in same cell, but that won't help us here. Has loaded 3D creation kit. How do you behave? Let's find that duckling then. Here we go. Oh, look at Pumpkin. That is one adorable little quacker. Oh, and he has a reflection. Oh, Pumpkin. Right. Is 3D loaded? Checks to see if this object currently has its 3D loaded. Even if the object is in another room bound and therefore not rendered, the function will return true. Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah, let's do that. We'll do is 3D loaded because that will return 0 if the player isn't close enough that it's actually loaded. And get distance is less than 2,000. If we do that, along with get VM quest variable, get item count, that should work. Cool, that was slightly convoluted, wasn't it? And I haven't checked the chat in a little while. What have you all been saying? Welcome back, Nuna. You found Pumpkin on the side of a busy road this morning. Oh, poor thing. Well done for looking after him. When does the stream usually go on to? Tonight we are running until 8 PM BST. It's currently 6:18 BST, so we are running for another 1 hour and 40 minutes. We usually have a couple of breaks during it, so I will be having a break soon, I think. But I've only done one line, so we need to pick up the pace a little bit. So we've got our line for the place being for sale. I've just created another line there for us to edit. But here we go. The place is for sale. And we're going to want a script on this. We're going to want it to be random. We're going to want to say it only once. We're going to have hours until reset be 24. So it should only play once anyway, but that doesn't always work. So that'll mean it'll only play once every 24 hours. And then to be triply sure, we're going to do a get owning quest dot set stage 10. And if we do that, that will mean when this line is set, it'll set the stage to 10. So I want here to check that the stage is 0. Get stage. And I want JR Lucien CC Tundra Homestead equals 0. So that's checking we've never said this line before. If we've never said this line before, then you can say it, and then it'll set the stage. You will never be able to say the line again. And that's that. So that's all set. Hello, Macon. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Oh, and hello again, Phantom Fluffy. Welcome back. Oh, hello, Orbelin. What a lovely thing to say. Thank you so much for the lovely comment. I'm so glad you like Lucien. It's really nice to hear that. And I really hope you enjoy the stream. I'm sure it must be weird to hear me outside of the game. I'm not Lucien. I'm Joseph. But I do sound a lot like Lucien. So, hi. Hope it's not too weird for you. Right, now what are we doing? We've done that line. So, we probably won't have another line for before you've actually bought the place, because I don't think it's necessary. But maybe we will. Yeah, I know what we'll do. Oh, maybe we will. Sorry, just thinking. Just thinking. Thinking. Did my previous message send? My internet is acting funky. I don't know, Bobzilla. I'm just having a look. I can't see any messages from you for quite a while. Why don't you send it again anyway? Because if it did, I've missed it. But yeah, send it again. Now, what was I? Getting so distracted by the chat. But that's okay. It's nice being distracted by you guys. Right, I was going to look at the price of the Tundra Homestead, which costs 7,500 gold. And you buy it from the city's steward. And the city's steward is Proventus Avenici. So, I want to do a check if you're near Proventus Avenici. Don't know what the line will necessarily be yet, but what we're going to do is we're going to do get distance between Lucien and Proventus. But of course, I need to know what the reference for him is, so I'm going to take a wild guess here and say that he is in Whiterun, Dragon's Reach. Is he in Whiterun, Dragon's Reach? Who knows? Proventus. Yes, he is. Nailed it. If Lucien is less than 2,000 away from Proventus Avenici, and I'm going to use get in same cell because I'm happier with that and more comfortable. Get in same cell. Whiterun, Dragon's Reach. Proventus Avenici. Talk to my steward, Proventus Avenici. He will tell you about your house. Don't ask me what accent that was. It was meant to be Balgraf, and we won't ever talk about it again. Check my posture and hydrate. Sure thing. Check my posture twice. Thank you guys for pointing out the posture thing. I know it's something I need to work on. Right, so if you are near Proventus Avenici and you're in the same cell, maybe we don't need it. Maybe we don't need the get distance check. We'll just have her in the same cell. We're going to say that, and we're going to say, we're going to do get stage to check if Lucien was already aware of this place. We're going to do JR Lucien CC Tundra Homestead. And we're going to say that stage has to be equal to 10. And we're going to add a get owning quest dot set stage 20 here. So this is going to set the stage to 20 when it's happened. We're going to do say once. We're going to do random. We're going to do 24 hours again to prevent the repeating. If you are near Preventus, we don't need to worry about whether or not you have it now because we just know that Lucien's seen it. Get in same cell, get VM quest variable, player owns house is 0. So now we're going to check whether the player has enough gold. Get item count. You guys are taking the mick out of me with my Balgruuf impression, but thank you for entering into the spirit of it. Right, gold. Gold 001, which it's called for who knows why, is greater than 7,500. And we're going to check whether that's greater than for Lucien or for the player. And if that is indeed the case, then Lucien will say this line, which is, shall we ask the steward if we can buy that homestead? Really did look lovely. There we go. Done. Balgruuf broke down my door and made me thane. Balgruuf broke into my room and gave me an axe. Balgruuf climbed out of my fridge and told me to climb a mountain. Is this a meme we've stumbled upon here? Right. Done. 2 lines. Cool. And that's all the lines we're going to have before the player has bought the home. So now when the player's bought the home, they are going to have the key in their pocket. And that variable is going to switch to 1. So let's copy that. Oh, and I've now created a quest script that I don't... Oh, I do need this one, actually. We're going to do set stage 30, so we need to remember to create that stage now. But here we are. We have a homestead now. Hooray! I can't wait to go and look inside. This is all fairly generic stuff, but, you know, it'll do. And then we're going to check the stage was greater than or equal to 10 here. So just that Lucien was aware of the homestead in some way. And we're going to do get VM quest variable is now equal to 1. And if it's now equal to 1... Oh, and we're also going to check that the stage is less than 30, so this line will only play once. And if that's true, then jobs are good. Is it possible... was anyone going to tell me you could DM people on Twitch, or was I just going to have to find that out for myself? Yeah, you can whisper to people on Twitch. Having a chat with me, is it possible to make a Skyrim person with only 1 leg? That doesn't look too weird. It would have to share the standard animations for people who have 2 legs. That's the problem. So you could give them 1 leg and they could have like a Dwemer prosthetic. That would work fine. But if you wanted them to walk differently to someone who had 2 legs, then you would need to use a third-party mod like thingy. You know, the animation mod that everyone uses for animations. I can't think what it's called now. It's a mod. Someone's something. There is a mod for it that lets you have custom animations, but that becomes a hard dependency that anyone else who downloaded that follower with only 1 leg would have to also have downloaded in order to be able to use it. So, up to you whether or not you'd want to go for that. FNIS, that's it. 4's new idols in Skyrim. And Nat redeemed hydrate. Well, thank you, Nat. Or Nemesis. That's the other one, isn't it? Right. Get owning quest set stage 30 up. So that's all fine. So I'm now going to set the set stage to 30. And that is all Lucien's various dialogue on the acquisition. Nope, we're going to have a 40. For when you actually arrive and you're inside. Oh, but we need to go back to this line and change it here to make sure you weren't already there at the time. So get in current location. Okay, what was the location called? It was EE is what it started with. House exterior location equals 0. So you're not already near the house. And you are not actually in the house at the time. And if we check both of those, that should make sure you're not there. So now if we duplicate that again. Oh, a hydrate and a posture check. And another posture check. Right, so now this is going to be a comment when you actually get inside. Is delightfully cozy. I think we'll be extremely comfortable here. Don't you? And this actually isn't going to have any stage requirements, except that it's got to be less than 40, because this is what he's going to say when he enters the homestead for the first time. Say once, random, 24, set stage 40, and all this is going to be now is if you are in the interior of the homestead. If you're in it and he's never said this line before, then he'll say it. Job done. Right. Cool. Right, so we've got that line, we've got that line, we've got that line, we've got that line. So now we can get on to the general idle dialogues for once you are in there. Now we've essentially done the quest. Oh. See you, Caled Wen. It was lovely having you here. Thank you so much for your support on the hype train that we had at the start as well. It was really lovely of you. And yeah, all the subs and everything. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Right, so the first thing I thought I'd comment on inside the house was the baking surface. So let's just pop back inside the house and have a look. Wow, this isn't right. That's not where I meant to be at all. Oh, and we've also accidentally, that little star there tells us we've accidentally edited something inside the house. So if we have done that, when we finish this, we need to go in and SSE edit and clear up any dirty edits we've done. How long are your streams usually? I'm usually stream for around 2 to 3 hours, and tonight I'm streaming for another hour and a half. So until 8 p.m. BST. Oh, by the way, I've changed a setting on Twitch to have low latency streams, so that should reduce the time delay between you typing and me reading it. So I thought we'd do an experiment because I'm just curious as to what the time delay is now, because there is still one, but it should be much smaller than before. So I'm going to count down from 5, and if you could type the word go, if you could type the word go in the chat when I reach 0, that would be really helpful. So I'll know what the delay is. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Phantom Fluffy trolling me there. Oh, brilliant. That was like 2 seconds? That was about 2 seconds. That's great. That's so much better than it used to be. Right, yes, right. Reward redemption. Manage reward requests. Oh, I've just realised earlier on in the stream when Ninja said the thing about gifting a sub, that was supposed to be a shout out. So shout out to Nuna for gifting a sub to Critical Role to Ninja. Because Ninja is gonna cry. Ah. So shout out to them. And a shout out from Nuna right back to Ninja, who is a great help and a support with her fanfic, and who they are hoping to make do a big cry after the stream when they post their next chapter. So that's a shout out to you from Nuna Ninja. Nuna Ninja, say that 3 times fast. And of course we had that timeout request from before, and we've given Grey 3 treats. We'll give her the remaining 2 treats if she comes back. So I've just redeemed 3 of those treat requests, and I'll refund the others if she doesn't come back for them. No, yeah, I got that you were joking, Phantom Fluffy. It was a joke troll thing. He's fine. Don't be sad. No need to be sad. What treats are you giving Grey? I've been giving her Dreamies. I can show you if you like. These are her favourite. Dreamies. They come in loads of different flavours. She doesn't mind which flavour. But yeah. Product placement there. Sponsored by Dreamies. I'm not sponsored by Dreamies. But if Dreamies do want to sponsor me, feel free to reach out. Man tries. I try. We have got another shout-out request. There is a shout-out request from May saying, everyone please be sure to follow at Phantom Fluffy. Very fun streams, and they include Lucien. And I second that. Definitely follow Phantom Fluffy. I haven't had a chance to drop in one of their streams yet, but they have been saying lovely things about Lucien, and that is lovely of them. So do drop in on their streams and give them a follow if you're keen for more content. And Rex Flash has been using the Reading Lucien emote. I'm glad you're enjoying that. Right, so the first comment I was going to have inside the house was going to be on the baking surface, which is a unique object that only exists in this mod. So. Oh, Sacrilicious is raiding with a party of 11. Hello, raiders. Hello there. General Sacrilicious. Welcome, raiders. Today we are mostly procrastinating and doing a little bit of modding. So hopefully it's mildly entertaining. Failing that, I have here a cute little Shemiji of Lucien who'll wander around and hopefully make you go, aw. So, hello, welcome. Bobzilla, I'm afraid if you're trying to contact me directly, my DMs are closed on Discord, but you're always welcome to ping me if you want, just at me somewhere on Discord, and I'll reply to you. But otherwise, you can try typing again. I've obviously missed your message again, but I will reply if I read your message. Oh, where can I message you? Because it seems like Twitch won't send my message. I don't know. I mean, Twitch is obviously sending your messages about sending messages. But yeah, if you can't DM me on Discord, but you can always @ me in one of the channels if you like. So feel free to do that if you want, or you can post it again here. I mean, it's obviously sending these messages when you're asking about your messages. So you can always try again there. Anyway, right. So, yes, hello Raiders, welcome. I'll try and be amusing. Hi. This baking surface is fascinating. I've never seen anything quite like it. I wonder what it's like with sweet rolls. There we go. Did Lucien eat the sweet rolls I gave him, or am I dumb and accidentally removing them? No, Lucien doesn't doesn't eat sweet rolls. He doesn't have that functionality. So he'll talk about them, but no, he didn't eat them. Unless you've got some kind of food management needs mod that might make followers eat food. Well, you can always break your messages up into shorter messages if you like, Bobzilla. Up to you. Whatever you fancy. Right, so this is going to be get in current location. House int location equals 1. And we're going to do a get distance check. Between Lucien and this baking surface. Baking surface trigger, that'll do. Between Lucien and the baking surface to check that he is, and we're going to do this within, make him stand quite close to it, I think, to trigger the line. So we'll say less than 300 Skyrim units away. Well, we did actually add, hello Mini Hunter, welcome to the stream. Because people were complaining about Lucien's collision dialogue before, I did add a whole range of different ones for him to say. So if you are using the latest version, 1.5.0, he should have lots of different things he says, rather than just, oof, do you mind? Yes, Inigo is the only follower I know of that does eat them. Right, so get distance, that is less than 300. Getting current location equals 1. And if we've got both of those, then that's all Lucien needs to talk about it. I'm going to make it random. I'm going to make it only said once every 24 hours. And we're going to add a get random % to the stack to reduce the frequency of him saying this line. So get random % is less than, I think we'll just go with less than 1. I reckon, but we can always tweak that if it's not ideal. Boom, boom, boom. Job done. Right, guys, I am going to take a very short break. In Cyrodiil, we respect each other's personal space. If you'd asked, I'd have moved. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I in your way? Thank you so much for asking so politely. Ow, my toe. Yes, well, he'll only say that if you're colliding with him, so if that's been triggered by you feeding as a werewolf, he must have collided with him when you were feeding. But yes, right, so I'm going to take a short break for about 5 minutes, and then I will be back for more. Might get myself a cup of tea or something. But yeah, quick break for 5 minutes, and then I will be right back to continue working on this patch, and hopefully we can get it more or less done by the end of the stream. But I will have to pick up the pace a bit for that, rather than getting quite so distracted. But yes, right, cool. Quick break. Back again soon. Just change to the right screen for it. Where is it? Break. There we are. See you in a bit. How diddly do? I am back, and I have tea, which is an excellent state of affairs. Hi. Hope you all didn't go away. Did you? No. 41 viewers. Hi. Glad you all stayed. Welcome back to the stream, where I'm going to crack on straight away because I don't want to end up not finishing this tiny little patch in 3 hours because I faffed around so much. So, is that a plain mug? No, it's not. It is a very old mug. It's actually merch from a show that my dad was involved with making. My dad used to be involved with making children's TV years ago, and it was a show called Captain Mac. So it's merch from the show called Captain Mac, which was a British sort of superhero show thing. Sorry to startle you, Talwyn. But yes, it was the nearest mug. I didn't really think about it, really. It was just there, so I grabbed it. Right, so, modding. Screen with camera. Okay, guys, we need lines. We need lines about this stuff. All the lines you can think of. I'll take any recommendations you have for lines that would make sense in the Tundra Homestead, but bear in mind, specifically for the Tundra Homestead, not just general house lines, because those will go in the main mod. But Tundra Homestead lines. What might Lucien say in each of the rooms in this house? Here you've got a kitchen where he's just commented on the baking surface. We've got a line for that. What else are we going to have? Oh, do you remember that, Ninja? Oh, he'll be chuffed to hear that. I'll let him know. No, the house is in the Tundra. That's why it's called the Tundra Homestead, is because it is, in fact, in the Tundra, yeah. It's got him Tundra a spell. I think... Okay, so we've got... Lucien likes bad puns as much as the next person. I think there's a limit. And I think you might have just hit that one, May. I think that's hit the limit. So I don't think we're necessarily going to go with that line. But I'll bear it in mind. We'll put a pin in that line and maybe we'll come back to it. Right, so we've got a lovely little room. It's got a bar. We can do something with a bar. What could Lucien say about a bar? It is fancy having a bar of our own. Barkeep, your finest milk, if you please. Sorry. There we go. And we're going to do another, change that get distance check to instead being now. I'm going to select a new ref, which is going to be something about this bar. Something we can select. It won't let me select the table because the creation kit is weird like that, but it will let me select this idle marker, which is under the bar. Now we'll just check, what exactly did we choose there? Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that one. If you're within 300 of that, and I think 300 might be a bit big, but we'll keep it for now. We can always bring them in a bit. How would Lucien react to the Dragonborn just suddenly having a bear companion? He'd have questions like, where has this bear come from? Is this bear going to eat me? I hope it doesn't. Oh, speaking of which, by the way, what cheese can you use to attract a grizzly? Camembert. And that's the end of the stream. No, it's fine. We'll carry on. I just thought I'd just share that with you. Fancy writing desk near the front door. That's true. Basement storage gallery. We'll definitely have something to say about that. And the little room all decked out for alchemy and enchanting. Yes, we can have that. Oh, dear. I'm glad you enjoyed. I mean, feel free to use that for Lucien, Ninja, but I don't know whether Camembert's a thing in Elder Scrolls. They probably don't have it. It's probably not lore-friendly, but... Snowberry. Yep, he could very well make that sort of pun, sure. While I'm on that subject, did you hear about the explosion at the French cheese factory? All that was left was debris. Debris. You know, because it's brie. It's funnier if you explain it. It's like cheese. It's brie. What did the cheese say when it saw itself in the mirror? Hello, me! I can do this all day. No, you can't ban me. That's the great thing. I have just got complete free reign to chat whatever nonsense I want, and you can't do anything about it apart from log off. But I'll still chat to myself. You can't actually stop me from saying these things. Sorry, were those jokes too cheesy for you? It's as gowed a way to pass the time as any. Yeah, that's true. I like that. I actually think I've run out now. Sorry. I'll let you know if I think of any more. Oh, no, Nuna, you're not my mum. You're the server mum. And also, I'm in my room. This is my room. This is where we are. You're in my room. And I'm in the corner. This is the corner of my room. I'm already here. How does the follower interaction thing work? It's really cool, but seems like a complicated thing to do. Also, these puns gotta go. The follower interaction thing, I talked about this on a previous stream. It's quite complicated, but I'll quickly whiz you through it just to give you the outline. I'm planning on doing a full tutorial of this in my how to make a custom voice follower mod. How to make a follower mod like Lucien Flavius series. Where I'm hoping to show you exactly how I do this, but I will quickly whiz through it for you. If we've got a quest, JR Lucien Follow, which is our quest that contains all our stuff, and in there, we have got a bunch of quest aliases for all the different followers I ever considered that Lucien might comment on when I was setting all this up. A lot of these are unused at the moment because I haven't done stuff for it yet, but these are all the empty aliases for the various followers. And the key thing about that is those aliases can be filled by scripts with references for the actual followers to automatically detect which ones you've got installed. Now, I do that using a quest called JR Lucien Mod Handler, which has a script attached to the player alias called JR Mod Checker. Let's just have a look at that. Well, I certainly hope so, Megasocky. I'd be delighted if it inspired people to make followers. But yes, we'll just find... So here's JR Mod Checker. This is the script for checking the mods that you've got installed. And it has these functions called, well, it's on load, right? So when you load the game, it checks your mods. And it does so. It does an update for the MCM, and it does an update. It checks whether you've got SKSE and sets a variable based on that. And then down here, it does a load of checks. So the first thing it does there is it checks whether you've got AFT installed. And if you do, it adds Lucien to the exclude faction, so you can't add him to... So you can't try and control him with AFT, because if I stop you from even trying, that should mean I get less bug reports from people who've tried to control him with a follower mod. So down here we've got all these mod checks, and this is a function I've created where you put in the alias that you want to fill, you put in the reference ID of that particular actor that is that alias, and you put the mod that it comes from. And when you then run mod check, that calls this function, which is get form from file. That is the magic script function you use for patchless interactions. Posture check. Yes, there we go. So, oh, mic falling over. Right. You use get form from file to get the reference ID of the follower in question, which you then save into that empty alias. And that's all there then is to it. So then if I then go to, if you run that, and then we go to our dialogue, which is under JR Lucien Follower, let's go there. You go to misc, you go to idle, we scroll down to the bottom, here's where our interactions are, here's one to do with Ori. So this is checking, and in here, for the get distance check that checked Lucien is near Ori, we've got quest alias Ori that it runs on, so it just runs on that alias. There's a few more nuances to it, which I'll explain in the tutorial, but that's more or less the quick summary. What prevents you from doing the companion dialogue through a patch similar to what you're making now? Absolutely nothing prevents me from doing it. You can totally do it through a patch. It's much easier to do it through a patch. It's much more straightforward. You don't need to mess around with scripts and aliases. However, it saves you load order slots, which is particularly important for classic Skyrim and those on Xbox. Doing it patchlessly, it makes the installation process easier. Occasionally it surprises people who didn't know they had interactions until they find them talking to each other. So the benefits are that you can do it patchlessly, so that saves you all that stuff. But the downside is it's much fiddlier. You have to have some quite strong knowledge of scripting, I think, to be able to do it. I wouldn't recommend doing it if you're a newbie at scripting. And you are quite constrained in what you can do, so it's easy to check for anything you can check for with that alias. So you can check if they're nearby, or if they're hurt or anything like that. But what you can't check using that script is a quest. So for Kaiden, I have two variants of Kaiden's intro dialogue, depending on whether or not you know about his past. And I cannot simply do a get stage check to do that. I have to call a separate script to do another get form from file in order to get his quest and then check the stage for it through a script, which is a faff. So it limits you on a lot of things that you can do with it. So if you're a new modder who hasn't done this sort of thing before, I would personally recommend the patch way of doing things. It's much more straightforward and easy to handle. But if you are pretty confident with scripting and you know what you're doing, you could give my method a go. And like I say, I'll do a full tutorial for that in my YouTube series. So do subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to catch that when it comes out. All the links are in the description underneath this stream. I've put loads of stuff on there. There's loads of videos of all sorts, including my role play, let's play kind of thing. And a bunch of other stuff, but in particular those tutorials will be going live over the next few weeks. I'm planning to do one around this weekend, which I started last weekend. Need to finish that off. Yeah, so do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done. If I installed a non-collision mod for followers, which I'm realising probably won't work for Lucien, and would that ruin the collision triggers, or is it perimeter? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Lucien doesn't have any collision triggers. I don't know what the effect. I don't know whether it would work for Lucien. It depends on the implementation, and I don't know really what the effects would be. It depends entirely on how they've set the mod up. If you're doing PC only releases, you don't need to worry about much. Yet you could just use ESL flags, ESPs. I would recommend doing that if you're planning on only releasing on SE, specifically SE and specifically PC. Then I would recommend you don't bother using this patchless stuff. Just release some ESL flagged ESPs, and that'll solve all the problems. Xbox porting is super easy. It's like a couple of button clicks. I'll show you how I port to Xbox. You go File, you go log in to Bethesda.net. You go File, you go Upload plugin and archive to Bethesda.net, and you hit XB1. It loads for a little bit. You get an incomplete list of the archive of the files, the assets you want to add. So you need to manually select them or write your own list. I'll explain all of that in a YouTube video. It's too complicated to go into now. But you literally just tell it what assets you want to have. This is the same process for uploading to PC. And you just hit pack files. And you've uploaded your mod. Well, then it will allow you to type in the details for your mod and everything. But it's that easy. There is no process for Xbox porting. You just export it in a slightly different way. Oh, I see. I've no idea. I would assume it probably would prevent those lines from triggering, but I don't know. Why not install it and try it and let us know? How long can the conversation go for? Can characters tell other characters' stories, like a campfire story, but in a dialogue player with the box with the player? No, it's fine. The whole point of this stream is for me to answer your questions. I'm only doing this as something to do while you guys aren't asking questions. I had hoped to finish this in the stream, but I'd much rather answer your questions and finish this over the course of several streams, if that helps. That's why it's a modding workshop, you know? So how long can the conversation go on for? As long as you want. There's no limit. You can have as many dialogue entries as you possibly would like. But do bear in mind, you don't want to have them be ridiculously long, because people will always interrupt. Enemies will always turn up. Dragon attacks. The player will get hungry or need to sleep or something. Things will interrupt. So if you are going to have a really long conversation, you need to use stage flags at various points in it so you can remember where you got to. So if the player needs to quit the conversation and resume it, they don't have to go right the way back to the start, because that's going to annoy them if it's a very long conversation. So you need to make it have different entry points if you want to do a really long one. But there's no reason you can't have a really long conversation, sure. We pined for more jokes as soon as we got above the tree line, but we were already in the double on Tundra. That is awful, May, but I love it. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sorry if I missed it before. Do I have any plans for Beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil? Yes, I do. Yes, I will definitely do. I'm planning a Bruma patch already. That's going to happen. And I would love to do a full patch for Cyrodiil. And yes, if the player is able to go to the Imperial City, I need to address Lucien's home in some way. I still haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to somehow cast voice actors for his parents and have them in there, I don't know. Whether I'm going to build my own family home for him or not, or whether I'll just have him talk about it but not actually be able to go there. I don't know what the implementation will be, but yes, Lucien will definitely have stuff to say about returning home, I think. But Beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil isn't due to come out for ages yet, so I wouldn't get too excited about that at the moment. And I haven't properly started work on the Bruma patch yet. I've only done the barest minimum with that, so that will take a while too. Plus I've been doing other things. Hello, Hawk. Welcome to the stream. Okay, Phantom, have fun at the gym. Go be healthy. Good for you. I need to do some more exercise at some point soon. Probably do some of that tomorrow. Right. Where was I then? I was back in here. Oh, you're a member of the Iliac Bay team yourself. Awesome. That's exciting. Is it Iliac Bay that's doing the Three Kingdoms thing, or is that... I can't remember what's what. But it's awesome that you're working on Beyond Skyrim. It's one of my absolute favourite projects for Skyrim. I think it's brilliant. So do hit me up when you're getting near to release or something. If you can hook me up with some early access so I can work on a Lucien patch in advance and then coordinate release, I would love you forever for that. So, you know, if you could put in a good word for me, give me that sweet, sweet early access to Three Kingdoms. Just smiling at the camera there for you. See what you can do. Anyway, right. Tundra Homestead. Oh, I better close Discord again so we don't get pings. If you go to a store and put a small cat in a large cart, Corals, you're an evil person. That's true. Don't do that. Oh, a small cart. I thought you were saying you're putting cats places. Put a small cart in a large cart, Corals. I don't really know what a Corals is, but I assume you mean if you put the small trolley in with the big trolleys so that it doesn't line up or fit together, then yes, you're a terrible person. What are you doing? Sort your life out. Right, Homestead. Thank you for noting, Sacrilegious. So that was doing the distance check there, so I'm happy with that. Now, what else have we got in this little living room thing where he's going to say all this dialogue? We might need to change these random percents as well. What was that? Did that have a get random percent less than 1? That might be too high still. We might need to reduce that further. Table with cheese. That's fairly generic. Nothing to say about that. The bar we've commented on. Some nice chairs. Don't really know what I can necessarily say about the chairs. That's a fancy writing desk, though. You're right. We could have them say something about that. Yeah, definitely don't hold out for the Lucien patch. It'll be a while. You know, never wait for anything to play it with Lucien. You can these things take ages, and I don't have a strict schedule, so definitely don't wait. Don't you dare make me carry any of that firewood over there. No, Lucien, I need that. He was stealing the camera thing, and I wouldn't be able to get that back if he threw it away. Oh, dear. Yeah, the writing table. We definitely need to say something about that. Have we already... That's a copyright, so... Oh, see you, DF... I need a name for you, DFDS 3004. But lovely to have you drop in. Thanks again for joining the channel. And yeah, hopefully see you again soon sometime. Bye! Tiny Lucien like the desktop duck. I don't know what the desktop duck is, but Tiny Lucien is an awesome little shimiji, which we love. Desk is gorgeous. Reminds me of mine back home. That one's bigger though. Not that it's a competition. Oh, yay, thanks so much for the sub, Fish Fiend. I want a tier 2 sub. My word. That's incredibly generous of you. Thank you so much. That's so lovely. Thank you. Thank you, Fish Fiend. You are a wonderful person, and I really appreciate that. Right, where should we pop this now? No, that's not right. Let's move this around. Oh, thank you. That's so lovely of you to say. Honestly, you guys are just so lovely. You make me feel really welcome here on Twitch and in the modding community. I really am so grateful for all the positivity. Let's do it with reference to the safe. Can we get the safe? Yes, the safe. That can't move. There we go. You're making your own follow mod, Bobzilla. That's awesome. Do it. I can't recommend making a custom voice follower enough. It's a really rewarding experience, and it's a great way to learn new skills with modding. You know, pick up all the stuff that you need to know. Follower modding is a great way to do that because it's so incremental and modular. You just do bit by bit by bit. You can make it as small or as big as you want. You know, it could have 10 lines or it could have 10,000 lines. It scales really well. So, which is why I think it's a really good thing to make. That's what that little star thing is. What little star thing? Megasoki? If you said that little star thing is, I'm not quite sure what that means. Oh, you mean the star on the subscriber thing? Yes, it's flare, isn't it? It indicates that it's a tier 2 badge. Yeah. Where did Tiny Lucien come from? Tiny Lucien is a shimiji, which is a desktop pet. And his animations were designed by Shiva from the Discord, and she's done a fantastic job with him, I think. There's a link to him on the Discord if you want him. What's your stream schedule? My stream schedule is, I stream normally every Thursday from 5 till 8 p.m, doing modding workshops. I do other streams throughout the week. Now, you'll notice it's a modding workshop today, which is Friday rather than Thursday, and that is because... I couldn't make yesterday because a thing came up that overran. But normally we're on Thursday. That's 5 till 8 p.m. BST. That's British time, UK time. You'll have to convert that to whatever time zone you're in. That's when I always stream, and I do other ones throughout the week. And I always post about them on my Discord channel. So if you're not sure, if you want to know for sure when I'm going to be streaming, join my Discord channel and you'll get updates on when I'm going to be streaming. There's a link to that under the stream. And you can sign up for Discord notifications there and everything. But yeah, Thursday is the one that I always do, except in exceptional circumstances. And it's usually 5 till 8 p.m, whatever day it is, BST. Right. So we've done that. We've done that. We've done that. That's fine. That's good. There's a line for that. We're probably going to end up running out of time to do the dialogue today, which is surprising because it's such a small patch, but that's the way it works out. We've been having fun chatting about other things, and you guys have been being super generous. Right, what's in this room here? I think this is the enchanting... No, this is the bedroom. This is the master bedroom, which has a little shrine in it. And stuff. No, I haven't had a chance to have a look at Valiant Hearts yet, Hawk. Sorry, I've been really busy. But I will check it out at some point for sure. Noon has just dropped a link to the Discord in the chat. Do bear in mind it is quite... it's a family-friendly Discord, so do bear that in mind if you're going to be joining. Check out the rules section, you know, because we keep it all very wholesome and PG in there. But yeah, it's a super fun, friendly space. I've tried to make it a really welcoming space for everyone. So yeah, right. Line for the bedroom. Oh, this isn't the master bedroom. This is the shared bedroom for the kids, I assume, and for the player. Yes, the tiny Lucien is on Discord. You'll have to search back for it a bit now, though. If you search for Shimiji, you should find it. Megan's being followed by a fluffy cat. We love the cat. Pet the cat. Yes, he would comment on it being shared, so let's do that. 3 beds all in one room. Oh. I suppose it's cozy. But a little privacy goes a long way, I find. Still, each to their own. There we go. And we're going to get distance from... What are we going to do it from? We're going to do it from, I reckon, this bed over there. Child bed 2. There we go. All these distances might need tightening up. I'll have to test it a bit to see. Because I think they might be too big. But we'll see. How convoluted would it be to mention another follower? Oh, I could definitely mention another follower. I might mention Inigo, actually. No. I could do, but I don't want to start making decisions about... I don't want to say, oh, X snores or doesn't snore or anything. Because I don't want to be deciding for other follower authors what their characters do unless it's already canon. Oh, Shiva, you're continuing the sub. Thank you so much. That's really lovely of you. Thank you, Shiva. General condition questions. Do you know what conditions exist for finding out stuff related to a player's spouse? No, I've never looked into that, but we can have a quick Google together now, can't we? Let's nip onto the Creation Kit wiki. I imagine there's a get relationship thing. Has association type. Here we are. Returns whether or not actor has an association to another actor. So actor.actorref.has association type player spouse, and of course there's a papyrus version here. Does this actor have the specific association with the specified actor, or with anyone if no actor is passed? So this will tell you therefore whether someone is the spouse. Yes, that should work. I'll just check if it's a condition. It might be just a script only condition. Let's have a look. Nope, it's there. Has association type. So you do this Talwyn, I guess, from what I've just discovered. So you do that, you'd set your target, and you'd check the spouse type, and you'd be all sorted. Are there conditions to find out the specific names, if vanilla and or gender? No, you can't check a name with the script. There is a script for getting the name, but it's SKSE only. So if you wanted to include that, you'd be including a dependency on SKSE, and you can't do it with a condition in the condition stack. You have to do it through a script. So you need to use the script to set a variable and then use that variable as a condition check, which is what I do for the custom names for Lucien. Lucien has, I'll just show you that actually while I'm here, because it might be of interest to either people watching now or people watching the VOD. I'm definitely not going to finish this patch today. JR Lucien follower, here we go. Right, so here's some of the lines. So this is a collision. Some of the names have custom collision dialogue. And what we have here we'll look at the Fenleen line. So if we look at this, we've got get global value, JR Lucien name int equals 38. Now 38 is the unique name ID I assigned for the name Fenleen. I think we've got nearly 70 now different names that Lucien will recognize. Name number 38 is Fenleen. So that integer is 38. So the way I then use that is if we just save this and we nip into, here we are, JR Lucien player name, which is the quest that handles player names. And I think it's an alias, no, stage. Right, so what happens here is when the player first loads up the game with Lucien installed, I can't remember when this fires. Oh no, this stage is set when you meet Lucien for the first time to trigger this script. And what we do is we do full name equals game dot... So the first thing that happens, is we do a condition in stage 10, a check to see if SKSE is installed. And if SKSE is installed, it will progress to stage 15. And if it isn't installed, it will return a harmless error. Now, if SKSE is installed, then it allows us to use the getName condition, which is SKSE only, the getName function. And you get the player, you get their base object, you get their name. I'm then using space index, which is a variable I'm setting, using string util, this is another SKSE function, that is searching through the string to find... Oh no, this isn't SKSE actually. I think this is vanilla, string util.find. But you're going to find... Through the name, which is full name, you're going to find the first space. And once we've found the first space, we save the name up until that space. So we save the name, all the bits of the name up until that first space bar. And then we run through a bunch of checks. If name is Amanda, do this. If name is Ashley, do this. If name is Benito, do this. And so on and so forth. Right the way down for all the different names that we have. That's how that works. So yeah, set all those names. And I need to remember to update this actually, because I don't think I've updated it for a little while to get the auto recognition working. But yeah, that's how that's set. And you can also change it through the MCM again to change that variable, that global variable, which is then what I check. Sorry, I spent a while talking about that. To find gender, there is a function for gender. I think it's just like get gender or something. Are there any plans to make Lucien marriageable? No. No, there's no plans to do that. That's not the direction I'd like to take the mod. I might do one day in like years' time, but certainly not right now. I've got so many other things I'd like to do. What do you need to get started? The creation kit. Well, if you look at my latest, episode 0 of my tutorial follower modding series, I will tell you everything you need to get started right there. All the hardware and software you'd need to make a follower mod. I can just grab you the link to that if you want. Here's the link to the first episode of my tutorial series, which will tell you everything you need to get started on modding. Lucien saying, congratulations on your marriage. You and specific vanilla NPC are perfect for each other. Yeah, that's possible. Be a faff, but it's possible. You'd have to go through and check for each individual NPC. You two would be much better, yeah. And no, I wouldn't. I'm not going to be doing dialogue to check whether you married Lucien legitimately or illegitimately. That's not going to be happening. Because that would just be weird. Because I like to be realistic with stuff, you know? I like to try and make it seem like a believable character. So I don't want to be having dialogue in there that's only triggered if you cheat in a particular way, because that just messes up the realism, breaks the immersion. Right. Where was I? Tundra Homestead commentary. Misk Idle. We had the thing about the beds all in one room. Back to the thing, if it would suggest if you had a follower, he'll vaguely remark to them to look out for bed bugs, or he would shotgun a specific bed that's bug-free. I think this is specifically a child's bedroom here, isn't it? Aren't these beds for children? So I don't think I'd want Lucien to necessarily refer to as these being beds that he would sleep in, because there could very well be 2 children in those beds already. No. No, you can't have it. Go away. Well, don't go away. You're lovely. But, you know, just you're all right over there. You're great. But just don't steal my window, please. Right. So I think we're done with the bedroom here now with that one line. I think that's fine. Oh, actually, the practice dummy in the bedroom. Oh, that's really lovely, Bobzilla. You always... No, the whole point of this stream is for you guys to ask questions, so feel free to blow up the chat with your questions. It's absolutely fine. That's exactly why I'm here and running the stream, is to answer your questions. That's the whole point. So please, feel free. Who keeps a practice dummy in their bedroom? Well, you do, apparently. But why? It's a bit tricky to detect if he's sitting in a specific chair. It's not impossible, it's just a bit of a faff. To give Lucien a favourite one, so I might... No, I'm not 100% keen on doing that one. But yeah. But thanks for the suggestion, though. Right, get distance, and this one I'm going to do on the practice dummy. Have you thought about a line about buying homestead or asking for a room to himself? Yeah, we already did a line about buying the homestead at the start of the stream. But asking for a room for himself is probably not a great idea because you can't actually give him a room for himself. And if Lucien asks for something that you can't give him, everyone then jumps into my bug reports to tell me he's asking for something but it won't let me give him it. So, I can't. But it would be good if I could, but I'm afraid I can't do that one. A general remark about the house smelling a certain way I think will be something to add to the main mod for just general house commentary, rather than being one for a specific one here. Right. Okay, this is the enchanting room and the cellar. And a letter thing. Or something. What are these? Oops, I've just moved that. That's going to be a dirty edit. I want to know what it is. Oh, it's a recipe for resist frost. And that is a recipe for cure disease. So this is your enchanting / alchemy room / entrance to the cellar. So we could have a line about this. A comment about the loot. I did think about doing that. It's tricky. Well, no, I could do it. But I don't know what I'd really say about it, because the player might be a bard for all we know. It might make, I could make him comment on the loot saying, oh, look, there's a loot, but that might be a really obvious thing for you to have because you're a bard, or it might be a bizarre thing for you to have if you're an orc barbarian, and it's a bit tricky to know which is which, so I'm not quite sure what I would say about it. No, I can't assign idle markers for the followers. The best you can do is let them sandbox, which you can do by telling Lucien to wait. So this is where the magic happens. Literally, you have an enchanting table. Sort of an attempt at a joke. I'm not really very proud of it. That loot makes me want to toss a coin, not sure why. I think that one's a bit on the nose. Yes, exactly, Big Red Xenial. This is exactly what I'm saying. I've learned from this mistake now. I gave Lucien a fun line about buying the home in solitude just as a throwaway reference thing, and immediately I get comments all the time now telling me I can't give the home to Lucien, or he doesn't say more stuff about it when I bought it, so I don't do that stuff anymore. It was only meant to be a little throwaway extra thing. Right. Crafting enchanting table. There we go. Now this is right on the other side of that door. So I am actually going to tighten in the distance ever so slightly for this one. Or maybe, even though it's aligned specifically for the enchanting table, we could use the trapdoor as the reference to make sure that you're really deeply in the room before he says this. It's a bit hacky, but there you go, trapdoor. And set it to 300. I reckon that's a better way to do it. If you have a lot of comments, how can you prevent him from babbling them all out at once? How is that handled? Well, so the way the game selects idle commentary is once every 23 seconds, roughly, according to my experiments. It might depend on your CPU and setup, but for me it's around 23 seconds. Once every 23 seconds, the game goes through all the quests that have available dialogue for your character, for any NPC that's loaded into the game. It runs through all the different lines that they could say, and it finds the first line it gets to where these conditions are satisfied, it will then say. He'll say that line, and then he'll wait another 23 seconds, and then it'll choose go through again, and it'll pick the first line, which the conditions are satisfied, and it'll say that. So if you don't have, if you always have a valid line, then Lucien will just say something. Every 23 seconds, he'll say a line, and that is way too much. That's really annoying if you have someone saying something every 23 seconds, so you need to reduce it. And the way we reduce the frequency, there is no way to control the frequency of how often your NPCs talk. You can do it through the ini. You can just change the idle cooldown for all NPCs if you want, but you can't change it for a specific NPC. So the way I handle it is I use get random %, which means when it gets to this condition in the condition stack, it rolls an 100-sided dice, because this only ever returns integer numbers. But if that roll was between 0 and 99, and if it rolls a 0, i.e. it's less than 1, then it'll say the line. So 1 out of 100 times it evaluates the condition stack, this line will be valid, in which case this line will be in the random stack that it'll then choose from. It'll then move on to the next line, and the next line, and the next line, evaluate all of those, and all the ones that rolled less than whatever I set it to will be in the random stack, and it'll then randomly pick one from there. However, if these are lines for you to just say when you're out and about in the wilderness or whatever, 1% is still too low. That means he'll say it once every 100 lots of 23 seconds, which is still too often. So you can reduce it further by adding a second get random % to it. So you'd have 2 of these checks, and you'd set that to something like 50. And now we've got to roll a 0 the first time round, and then roll less than 50 the second time round. So this becomes 0.5% probability of the line saying. And I wrote a whole Reddit article explaining the mathematical equations that should decide what you should set your get random % to, generally. So do check that out if you want. Let me know if you want that article, and I'll link you to it. But it's a quite dry article, so probably don't worry too much. But yes, you use get random %. That's how you control how often the lines are said. Next question was, for voice acting, what's the best way to impersonate the dialogues in the Elder Scrolls? Like for an Argonian, how do I not just sound like a smoker? I can't do an Argonian voice. That's really tricky. Practice is your only answer. Practice it, practice it, practice it. Listen to people speaking as Argonians and try and copy the sounds. It's difficult. Khajiit is easier because that's sort of a cross between Russian and Caribbean. I find. Hey, Khajiit would like to look at your wares. Yes, Khajiit. It's sort of got a little bit of Russian and it's got Caribbean in it. That's not right. That's gone Italian now. I don't know why we've gone Italian. There's a little bit of Italian in Khajiit voice as well. It's a little bit. It's me, Mario. I'm a Khajiit. Take a look at my wares. Wahoo. Yeah, sort of combine Caribbean, Italian, and Russian together and you'll get Khajiit. Kind of. For Nords, do your best Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. That works. Imperials, you can get away with British or American. Imperials has got a wide range of lines. Bretons, again, you can get away with anything, really. Most of the humanoid races, you can get away with anything. It's the beast races that are really distinctive. And the Nords, of course. Can you not just count a variable up to a specific point? You could have a timer running in the background that calls a script every second or something. You could say when that variable counts up to a certain amount and then say a line. But that would be very resource intensive and would be entirely tied to your CPU speed. I would not want to have a script running every second or every 5 seconds or something. You don't want to have timer scripts polling in the background all the time. That's going to put strain in your PC and lead to script bloat and stuff. Script lag. So I wouldn't do that. Some do. I think Sophia and Velia use counter scripts, but it's finicky. I'm not keen on it myself. You'd love to read the Reddit article. Let me try and quickly find it. Here we are. Here's the Reddit article I wrote. So if you have a look at that, you'll see that gives you the relationship between time, number of lines, and probability. Yes, so it would be a polling script, that's what I'm saying. Oh, whenever the NPC idle counter goes round, no, that doesn't fire an event when that happens. You would have to attach your script to the line that's said, which would mean a line would be said every 23 seconds. I wouldn't recommend that one. I mean, everything I'm saying is just stuff I've figured out through practice. None of this is documented or explained online except by me. And the other tutorials and things, but I don't think anyone else has done a mathematical relationship between probability and time. Right, let's comment on the alchemy lab now. So we can just duplicate this. What are Lucien's thoughts on the Argonian maid? He's not read it. Oh, yay, thank you so much for the bits, Shiva. It's me, a Parthenax. I thank you, Shiva, for the bits. That's probably not very PC for me to be doing an Italian accent. So apologies if I've offended any Italians watching this. But yeah, Mario. It's me, Mario. Wahoo! Let's go. I smell potions. And weird herbs and gristly things. Not my favourite scent, I must say. Ah, and of course what I've just done there is I've made a mistake and spelt it the British way because I'm British. Spell it the American way because that's how Skyrim's done. So there we go. What is a Jarth head? I have no idea. I don't know what that means. A fan of the works of an in-universe author, Joachim Jarth. Huh? Good. Well, that's nice. Good for him. Good for Jarth to have such a following. Right, I smell potions and poisons, da-da-da. I think we're done with the ground floor here, unless you can think of anything else that we could add. But I reckon we're done with the ground floor, so let's head down to the basement for the last 15 minutes to record. Well, not record, we're not going to do any recording today, because we're nearly out of time. But we'll set up some more lines. Oh, and another line I generally wanted to have. Whoever owned this place before you had a wonderful collection of books. I approve, because it's interesting. I think 4 out of 5 or something of the books that Lucien can read are all in this house. When I was having a look round, he has Children of the Sky, they have Hawker Attacks, they have... what are the other ones? They've got the Book of the Dragonborn, that's being added in the next update for Lucien that he can read. They've got loads of them. Spends facer points. I have no idea what that means. Favour. Oh, spend favour points. Not used. Loads of these things in the creation kit are things that are either carried over from previous / other games, or were originally intended for something that wasn't used. Spends favour points and favour level, these things don't exist. This is completely pointless. There's no point ever checking that. Yeah. Same for force subtitle, that does nothing. We'll get rid of the prompt. Doesn't Anna NPCs implement it, or is it in its own scripts? I have no idea what Anna NPCs does with that, but I don't believe it uses the actual favour points thing, because I'm pretty sure it's not a thing. Pretty sure this doesn't work, but they may very well have their own system for it. How does your Teach Lucien a Spell work for spells other than damage spells? Okay, so damage spells can be cast automatically. Oh, hang on. Let me just finish this line before I answer your question. This was just going to be getting current lock, and we're going to have get random % 1, and we're going to have another get random % of less than 50 to reduce that probability down nice and low. Right. Okay. Cool. So, all your damage spells will an NPC. I'll just put the camera back on me. Damage spells an NPC can automatically cast. They know how to do that. So if you just add a spell to an NPC's spell stack that does damage, they'll cast it automatically, and that's fine. They'll also buff spells will work. Those are self-buff spells, so oak flesh, stone flesh, whatever, they will work automatically. You just give Lucien them. Candlelight NPCs will occasionally cast on their own, but it's a bit random. The other spells, I had to write script specifically for them. So Courage, Lucien has his own custom combat package, which I'll just show you. Let's have a look, if I can find it. I haven't actually messed with this for a long time. J.R. Lucien has... Packages, AI packages. Nope, it's not in there. Combat override packages list. Here we are. JR Lucien combat overrides is the list of packages. JR Lucien combat override courage. So this is a package that Lucien has, which says if he's near the player, he knows the spell courage. That's a condition on this. If he knows the spell courage, if the player doesn't currently have courage active, if there is line of sight between Lucien and the player, if the player is less than 1,000 distance units away, and if Lucien is not directly in contact with the enemy, and if he has more than 96.30 magicka, which is the minimum magicka you need to cast courage at default values, if he's in the same cell as the player, if he's currently recruited and following the player, if it's Lucien, and if he has more than 20 approval of the player, then this package will execute, which forces him then to cast courage on the player. But it's a special version of courage, because if you just put normal courage into this package, Lucien will cast it and he will spend no magicka. Spells that are fired with a combat override package don't cost magicka to use. So therefore, this is a special version of courage that when it's fired, executes a script that manually takes away magicka from Lucien, the appropriate amount of magicka that it would have cost. Hence, we have that condition check to check if he's got enough magicka to cast it. And I also use this similar script for healing hands, and that's it. So it's healing hands and courage. Oh, and there's also one for candlelight. So that's how those spells work. Other spells, conjuration works automatically. If you give him a conjuration spell, he'll use that, no problem. Illusion spells can't cast. They don't work. Can't figure them out. It's really difficult. Most of them are, anyway. Like, how do you know when Lucien should use invisibility? It doesn't make sense. There's no way of knowing when he even should, so yeah, I hope that was useful. But I will walk you through how I've done all of this in my tutorial series again. I'll have a whole couple of episodes on custom spell implementation. Basically, my tutorial series, I'll teach you everything I know about that I learned for Lucien. So I'll talk to you about that as well in that series, so do tune into that. Oh, Macon, you feel so calm and happy when listening to these streams. That's really nice. So on Words Without Rules as well. That's really lovely. And Zooey and May. That's really nice. Did he have a patch with apocalypse spells, or does he just say a generic line depending on the school? No, he doesn't have a patch. It's patchless interactions again. So I did a similar system that I did for the follower stuff. In order to I'm using get form from file again with a very complicated series of scripts. In order to check if you know the spell, and then offer Lucien to teach it to you. Offer you to teach it to Lucien at that point, if you do. But I'm using get form from file and scripts again to do that patchlessly, which gives you a bunch of apocalypse spells. And yes, he does have special reaction to mod spells. Oh, and a shout out from Nuna. Thank you, Nuna. That's really kind. Nuna says, shout out to Joseph for being super generous with all his knowing of modding and also making a great community. That's so kind. Bless. Thank you, Nuna. That's really lovely of you to say. What's approval? Approval is a variable I created for Lucien, which controls how much he likes the player. So if you do nice things, like let Lucien see artifacts he wants to see and do quests with him, his approval will go up. If you say mean things to him, like come with me or don't, I don't have time for your cowardice, when he's worried about dragon fighting, if you say mean things to him, his approval will go down. And that, in turn, that variable is used to control when his personal quests fire, when he will ask you to train him, and it'll make cosmetic changes to his dialogue. You know, he'll use words, he'll say like, hello, my friend, instead of just hello if he's your friend. I'm glad you like the spell commentary. Those are a bit of a pain to do because I've got to mess around with sound effects, but I think they make some quite good humour, quite good opportunities for comedy when you can't see what's happening. I definitely would plan on stopping by one of Fluffy's streams sometime. If I'm online, if I'm around at the time, I'd love to tune in. I'd really like that. I love tuning in to people who are using Lucien on their streams because it's really interesting to see. I like to lurk in their chats. So do watch out for me if you're ever playing with Lucien, because it's really interesting to see in real time how someone reacts to Lucien's lines. It really helps me to get that direct feedback because I can see, oh, they liked that, oh, that didn't work properly, whatever. So then I often take that into account when I'm working on Lucien in the future. Yes, he does have negative commentary. It's extremely difficult to get Lucien's approval down particularly low, but if it does go low enough, him rather than saying, hello there, he'll say, what do you want? And things like that. The lines are in there. Okay, let's do one more line and then we'll call it a night, I think. Ooh, what happened there? Oh, there it is. Here's the basement. And of course, the line... There is another way, of course, that Lucien can fall out with you completely and you can end up fighting him. He'll leave your service and fight you. I won't spoil what causes that, but there is something you can do in the game where things can go bad. What do you mean by how specific can you get with modding Skyrim? Tell me more about that. Oh, no way, did Fluffy do it? Oh, no, you'll know if you're about to cause that. He'll tell you. You know, it'll be quite clear you're upsetting him. He'll know if you're not going to accidentally trigger that scene. Oh, a shout out. Shout out from RexFlesh99. Shout out to the whole Lucien community for being wholesome and amazing people who create lovely art and stories. I second that shout out. You are all wonderful and it's so lovely to have you. This community is a wonderful thing and I'm really pleased to have it. It was wholly unexpected. I didn't expect to end up having this community off the back of Lucien. And not when I started the Discord or anything. I didn't think we'd end up creating what we have, but I think it's really lovely. So thank you all. Right, so this is the basement. I think we're going to have a one-off reaction for Lucien entering this basement for the first time. Ah, no, we're not. I'm changing my mind. I'm so whimsical. Sorry, boys. I'm so changeable. Little bit of Jim Moriarty for you there. Right, follower. We are in this line down here. Are the patches and stuff also available on the Nexus? Yes, all of this stuff is available on the Nexus. It's under optional files on the Nexus, or you can find them separately and individually on Bethesda.net. And the mod is also on the Nexus, yes. Right. Yeah, you don't need to be nervous about joining the server. I think it's a really lovely thing that we've got. You know, I think it's a really lovely server, and you should, yeah, you should feel excited to join rather than nervous, because they're all lovely people. No one's gonna bite unless you start doing mean things or saying mean things or breaking the rules. But if you're nice, then we'll all be nice. This is 1. This cellar is fantastic. Look at all this space to keep stuff. That'll do. Getting current location. Now we're in the cellar now. Does it have a specific location for the cellar? No, it doesn't. So what we're going to do is we're going to say get in cell instead. Get in cell. No, CC. What is it? CC? BG interior. What's it called? What's this cell called, guys? 0E basement. That's the cell. There we go. If we're in this cell and the get random percent is less than 1, and we'll have another one. I swear that... Now, how do you spell mannequin in American? Does it change? No, that's fine. Good. Mannequin just moved. Sorry, just catching up with the chat. I'm so pleased you're enjoying the community so much. I think it's a really lovely space, so thank you all for being in it. Oh, hello, Freya Hawk. I'm afraid I'm just about to end the stream, so it'll be very brief. Oh, words without rules. You should... Well, obviously, you can speak if you want to, and it's totally fine to just lurk in the server if you prefer, but we would love you to speak in there. It would be lovely. You know, everyone's friendly. It's not something to feel nervous about, but if you don't want to speak, that's totally cool as well. But if you ever feel like doing so, we'd love to chat to you. But it's lovely that you're chatting here on the stream. Bobzilla, can I have my follower comment on, say, Braith being mean to Lars or Nazim being himself? You can't react to lines. That's something you can't do unless you're ready to conflict with other mods. You can't have Nazim say something and have your follower then respond to it. That is a limitation. You could react to being near Nazim, but you couldn't react to him specifically saying, "Do you get to the Cloud District very often?" Oh, what am I saying? Of course you don't. You can't comment on that. Yes, it's been quite a productive modding session. I'll be honest, I've been chatting a lot rather than actually modding, and we had a lovely bit where everyone was donating at the start, which was so kind of everyone. But it's been relatively productive. I think we'll finish this next week. Anyway, I'm going to park that there. And I'm going to switch back to the camera now to finish up. Well, the only way you can comment on people, on an NPC saying a line, is if you attach a script to that line to trigger a scene. So if you had that, but the problem is if you do that and then another mod modifies that line in any way, then it'll conflict with your mod, which I don't recommend doing. I think it's a nightmare doing that. So I would strongly encourage you not to try and make your follower react to someone else's line unless you can come up with a way to do it without editing the vanilla record. Because otherwise you're introducing yourself to a world of pain in people posting bug reports for why it's not working, and then you'll find out it's because they're also using Inigo or something, you know. So I always prefer to keep Lucien lightweight as possible, so he doesn't touch any of the vanilla records that he doesn't have to. The only ones he touches, I think, are Dead Man's Drink, where he's placed because he has to, and the Solstein records for Doomspathar. But apart from those, he touches nothing, and I think that's a really good way to do it, because it means if someone says, Lucien conflicts with XYZ mod 53, I can just reply, no he doesn't, which helps me a lot. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I've got to go and have dinner now. It's pizza night, so I'm going to go get some pizza. I'm going to carry on. Next Thursday, we'll be back at 5 p.m. BST to finish off this patch and answer more of your questions. I'll probably do a stream before then in the meantime, where I'll be playing some games. I want to carry on with SpongeBob, because that's really good fun. I want to dive back into that sometime. So do follow the channel. If you've not followed, do follow so you don't miss the next stream. And do subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done, because I'll be posting more content on that over the weekend. Some fun stuff to post, which I'm looking forward to seeing what you think of. So do sub to my YouTube channel. And I'm on Twitter and Facebook and Tumblr as well. All the links are below the stream for that, so you can follow that. I'm always on Discord. So feel free to hit me up on Discord whenever you like. Just ping me and I will reply. I'm always in and out of that community. I'll see. I read most of the stuff that goes on there. So yeah, I'll be on Discord. And of course, there's always my Patreon. That I do have a Patreon. Please don't feel in any ways obliged to subscribe to it, because it's just there for those of you who want it. But I do have one. I've recently put a whole load of new perks on it, things like early access, the ability to request custom name for Lucien, and all of that sort of thing. Do check it out if you're interested. It's there. I'll even do signed books. I'm sending off some signed books to someone who's pledged for those. So I'm posting them, a couple of signed books to them in the next couple of days, which I'm looking forward to doing. That's going to be fun. Here's the link in the chat. And I even do one-to-one tuition if you want it for modding. If you want me to sit down and tutor you one-to-one, but that's at a very high tier, which I'm not really expecting anyone to ever do. But I do have that, so do check out my Patreon if you're interested in any of that sort of thing. But otherwise, I'm going to head off. Thank you all for being so marvellous, and thank you all again for that really wonderful bunch of donations at the start of the stream. Honestly, it really blew me away, and it's so kind of you. I can't thank you enough for that. So thank you all so much for your support and for tuning in. And I'll see you all again on the next stream. Bye-bye.